Everything is always coming up apples this time of year, and today we're going to make some awesome crispy apple chips. And it starts with simple syrup. Simple syrup is simply water and sugar boiled together. So in a heavy bottom saucepan over medium-high heat, I've got 2/3 cup of apple juice going right into the pot. I want to put 1 cup of sugar in there as well. Okay, and just to enhance that apple flavor, I want to put 1/3 cup of apple juice. So this is really going to add another layer of sweetness and just really enhance that awesome apple flavor that we're looking for. So here we are, 1/3 cup of apple juice. And that's going to equal out the ratio of 1 cup water essentially to 1 cup of sugar. So you have a cup of liquid and a cup of sugar. We're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to go ahead and candy up our apples. What we're going to do in the meantime, while this is working on the heat, is we've got some ginger that's already sliced up. I've got my spice blends here because I am going to spice this up. But I've got my mandolin because you can't have spiced apple chips without the apples. So what we're going to do is slice up our apples really super thin. I want to keep the skins on as well, which is going to give it a nice little ring around the edges of it to give it a really pretty little lacy kind of pattern. I want to get really super thin slices of my apples. And the way to do that, the best way to do it is with a mandolin. But mandolins can be really, really ruthless. I mean, very, very ruthless if you're not careful with them. So we're going to take a few test slices first and check the thickness of the apple slices that we're going with and just adjusting accordingly. Every mandolin comes with a guard, and I highly recommend using it because, like I said, these things are merciless. Okay, so I want to take it kind of slowly, and I don't have to core the apple either, but I do need to pop out any seeds that we're going to come across. So I'm just going to go really carefully and slowly to check the thickness of our slices. And this looks pretty good. It's really super thin. Okay, so we're getting to a few more whole slices here. Minimal ring outages in the middle. So using my guard, I'm just going to very carefully slice my apples. Our simple syrup has come to a boil. I'm going to give it a stir to make sure that all of the sugar gets incorporated. Okay. And I'm going to turn the heat down to medium. So what I want to do is infuse this syrup with even more flavor. So I have some whole cloves, and I want to drop about 4 of those guys in there. Ooh. Look at that. Those are going right into the pot. And I have some whole allspice right here as well. Oh my goodness. And I'm gonna add 6 of these little guys, 6 of these little allspice berries right there. That guy left, so I need to get another one. Just one. They're hopping all over the place. To add into this as well, I have some freshly grated ginger. Actually, it's peeled ginger and I sliced it up. Still super fragrant. Ginger and apples go really well together. So all of that's going to go into the syrup too, and I want to let this infuse while I continue to slice my apples. This is getting seasoned up really well. The allspice and cloves are warming it up, and this ginger is giving it just a pinch of spice. I'm going to amp up the flavor with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and let that cook for about 2 minutes. Turn the heat down to medium-low. Let the flavors just kind of simmer in. All right, it's been a couple of minutes since we put our salt in there. I think it's ready. And if you remember the trick that I showed you on how to keep apples from turning brown while waiting to cook them, it's simple. It's a can of citrus soda or any kind of acidulated water. Lemon juice inside water, club soda, tonic water actually is really good. So you just go ahead and submerge your little apple slices in there. Okay. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to take some of these apples, just a little handful, and we're going to drop them slice by slice into our simple syrup mixture. And we're going to stir them and cook them for about 10 minutes. You're probably going to have to work in batches because the next step is going to be laying them out on a wire rack and baking them in the oven at 350 degrees. So that's why this is a really good idea to put the apples in the acidulated water. Okay, 10 minutes has passed and you can see these beautiful apple slices. Let me see if I can grab one for you to see. They've turned into super thin veils compared to what they started out before and after. Super thin glass-like veils, and that's exactly what I'm looking for in a thin, crispy, candied apple chip. Okay, I've swapped out the mandolin for my baking tray here that has a grate on it, and I've wiped it down with some olive oil, or you can actually use nonstick spray if you like, but I like using olive oil because it's a very light, fruity flavor anyhow. So I'm gonna take one piece and just lay it out onto the baking tray right here. So what's going to happen is I don't exactly want them to stick, but they're hot. And I'm going to try and make them as flat as possible, but if they don't want to be flat, if they don't want to open up, that's okay, because then they'll just look like pretty little rosettes, you know, just kind of curled up like a flower. So, but it's all good, it's all going to be edible, and it's all delicious, and each one is just going to have a little bit more character. So all of my apple glass chips are on the sheet, and you can see the grating even through those little veils. These are absolutely astounding. I mean, you can even taste one now if you want to. These are incredible. These are amazing. Oh my God, that ginger really pops, and the sweetness of the apple just really kind of enhances it. It goes super well together. Okay, we're gonna try a finished product later. These go in the oven for about 15 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're gonna start another batch. That apple glass is ready to come out of the oven and get on a silk hat right here, but if you have wax paper, that's fine too. So I'm gonna take these guys, and they don't seem very crispy right now, but they will dry up, I promise. So we're just gonna lay them out on the silk hat right here and let them cool and crisp up, and then we're gonna put our next batch of apples onto our sheet and do the process all over again. The last batch of glassy apple chips has come out of the oven, and they're all just kind of chilling right here, cooling and crisping. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. I mean, look, you can see the light right through it. So cool. They're so crispy, so delicious. The ginger really pops, and the cloves and allspice give it just enough warmth to where you know it's definitely fall. The syrup that I had the apples cooking in, it's simple syrup. It's sugar and water, a little bit of apple juice, and of course the spices that we added in. But what I also added in was the carbonated soda, the citrus soda that the apples were soaking in. So I'm gonna let that cook down and just kind of condense into a really nice syrup. I'm gonna strain it to get all of the other spice pieces out, and we're gonna use it in another recipe. So any byproduct that you have by anything that you cook, don't throw it out. There's always a use for something else, okay? Check these out. Gorgeous little pieces of apple glass. I mean, even the ones that don't want to uncurl, they're still delicious. You can use these as garnishes for apple pies, garnishes for crumbles. I mean, for any kind of dish, a little something extra pretty. You can even dust it with sugar so it has like beautiful, sparkly little crystals on it. If you're anything like me, you can just go straight in for the kill. Hear the crunch? Perfect, beautifully sweet apple chips. Okay, guys, glassed apple chips, apple glass, whatever you want to call it, by Kitchen Bravo. Super easy, really delicious, and just fantastically unique, all right? Amp up your desserts, snack time, anytime. Apple glass. Okay, guys. See you later.